Guys, this is Mr. How To, and I'm doing a series on World of Warcraft. Pretty much, we're touching down on just battlegrounds in general, and this episode is going to be on Eye of the Storm. Now, we're going to get straight to the stats and everything before the video really starts playing. Okay, for subtlety and specs, this video is technically outdated because this is patch 4.2. So go on to worldofwarcraft.com and look at one of the posts in the rogue section to see what enchants, gemming, spec, and how to for that. But this video is pretty old, not old, but it's kind of old. But I think most of the stuff is kind of valid. So if you don't feel like doing any of that, you can basically just pause the video at any point in time and just copy off whatever I have. Of course, I have multiple videos, and each video my gear is upgraded. So I would wait maybe to the last video that I make to really actually copy it. That's why I'm telling you right now, go to the website and just look it up. Okay, but we're basically going to be talking about how to play the objective in every episode. We're not going to keep touching back on what the stats and the gear is, because of the fact of, since I'm not current anymore with the game, it's most likely that you shouldn't be worrying about, just not worrying about that part right now. Just learn how to play the objective and learn how to play good as a rogue, because I've seen so many instances that pretty much a low gear rogue can beat a good geared rogue if the bad gear rogue has much more skill than the good gear rogue. That's just basically how it is. It's quality over quantity. But okay, let's get this started. Pretty much at the beginning of the game, be jumping off this big ass rock. Yeah, that's not really important. Okay, the true objective of the game is there are 4 capture points. And the main goal is the first team to get to the max amount of points is the winner. There's 2 strategies, so we're going to go into that right now. First strategy is to capture the first 2 that are closest to you in the beginning of the game. Not rush the middle, you go to the middle, you fight for the flag, and you capture the flag at a tower, which is pretty much Mage Tower. Now I'm going to give you the names. One I'm at is at Mage Tower. The one across of it is Draenei. The one to the right of that is Blood Elf. And to the one that is on the other side is Fel Reaver, which would be to the left side of this one right here. And you pretty much capture the middle flag, and you keep. It's like a slow process of gaining points. Especially if your team starts out late, the flag is really a big saver. It's a very big lifesaver. It's kind of a big hassle, but it helps you out a lot. The second one is kind of like a spur of the moment thing. It only happens usually in the beginning of the game, unless you have a good team, then it can happen at any point of the game. But if you just got like a okay team, it's going to only happen in the beginning of the game, where basically 4 people will go to, like, so for instance, at my alliance, we'd be going to Fel Reaver. Same thing if you're a horde, you could be going to Draenei Ruins. Most likely Draenei Ruins, because nobody cares about Draenei Ruins anyways. Everybody likes Mage Tower the best. And you pretty much you get three towers capped. You hold them for the rest of the game. And if your team is extremely good, you capture all 4 and you just spawn camp the other team until they start quitting or until you win. Of course, you can even make it go faster if you capture 3 and then you also go for the flag too, because most likely most of everybody at that point should be just spawn camping their graveyard at that one base that they have captured so they can't move. And you have to do that in a good sequence to make it so that when they start killing you off, you don't lose numbers because there's always somebody replacing you. But for the strategy, the first strategy, see right now, you see me going for the flag. Now, as a rogue, the main priority that you should be taking into consideration is to kill healers. Healers are the most biggest pain in your side for any class. So, your number one target should be a healer. How can you tell if it's a healer? If you have your game set up to the point where you can see like what they're casting, and if you play the game long enough, you could look it up too. I don't know what website you should look it up to, but or you can just play the class and you can figure out what healing spells are for those classes. If you see them casting a healing spell and only healing spell, and they're not casting anything else but that, then that's pretty much a healer. Just look out for Shaman Druid and Paladin. Shaman Druid Paladin. I think that might be it. Priest. Yeah, Priest. Yeah, Priest. So now, only bad thing about this map is in the middle. Druids, Shaman, and Warlocks have a knockback. Of course, there's two endless bottomless pits on each side. So pretty much, if they time it and they position themselves right, they can knock you off and just basically one-shot you without really even hitting you. And that would make you so mad. So best way to avoid that is to either stay away from them, be very cautious, or you can line your character up at a good angle. You position yourself in the right position of that class that does it knockback, and pretty much if you do it right, you land on the ground every time. Like earlier, you see me like fly a little bit. I kind of like poorly angled myself, but somehow I got lucky and I didn't die. But yeah, of course you see me right now. I'm trying to stop somebody from trying to take over Mage Tower. That's going to happen in every game. That's based on capture points. You're always going to have that instance where you're going to have to fight to keep somebody off your shit. One thing that I do not recommend, as you see right there, of course I did this for example because I knew I was filming this for this certain reason, so I was making some mistakes on purpose to show you what you should not do. Don't rush in by yourself. Call your teammates. Say, Mage Tower's under attack. It's almost taken over. I need help. Most of the time you'll get the response. Sometimes you won't. And if you're wondering why you don't get that response, it's because there's a lot of little kids that play this game and they're basically looking out for themselves, or they just don't know how to play. This is the reason why I'm making this video, so you know. Or they know and they just want to be a troll, or they just want to be a lazy bum and not do nothing, pretty much. But anyways, so see, as right now, I'm taking care of the healer. I'm beating the healer down to the point where he's crying, he's dead. Of course, I'm also going to teach you how to kill a healer in general. All healers, in my opinion, are the same. They basically almost do all the same things, except they're built in a different way. Okay, so let's just give you the rundown on how to kill them pretty easily. And so when you hear the word healer, you can just laugh at them and say, yeah, whatever. The first thing you need to do is when you're in stealth, you need to Garrett their back. It's a 4-second stun. That's done. Silence. It says silence. It's a 4-second silence that keeps them from casting any spells for that 4 seconds. There's nothing to remove it. There's nothing to avoid it. Once they get hit by it, they can't do nothing. Now, at that little split second of, oh yeah, I just stopped healing to stop them healing for 4 seconds. So everybody has 4 seconds. 4 seconds of freed up time to beat somebody down and kill them. Sometimes that just might help somebody to get killed on the opposite team. Sometimes, but not always. But pretty much it's a 4-second silence. Now the way I do it is I do not hemorrhage right away. I backstab because I have waylay set. What waylay does is it's almost like crippling poison, but the other effect that it gives, it also slows, like, I don't think it's cast speed, but I think it's like attack speed. Not sure. It's probably one of those, or it could be both. It slows attack speed. So right now you're making him slow, like a dog that's getting ready to die. And if you have crippling and wound poisoning on, you basically be slowing them down to a snail's pace. After the initial backstab, after the Garrett, whatever, you basically hemorrhage. Hemorrhage makes it so that you do, I wouldn't say twice, but you'd be doing a lot more damage than what you're doing right now. Hemorrhage should only really be used once, because backstab, even though backstab and hemorrhage do the same amount of damage, backstab has more benefits because if you have waylay set, you can constantly keep your opponent locked down and they cannot kite you. Hemorrhage does not do hardly anything but be a damage increase. And it might help you apply crippling and wound poisoning a little bit more, but if you have waylay, you're really not going to worry about the crippling part because they're already slow down enough. Especially if you have crippling on the main hand, because if you have it on the main hand, then pretty much it usually should be applying every single time. The wound poison, I don't really care too much about it. I use it just because it's better than nothing. It's better than mind-numbing poison. It's because Blizzard doesn't care too much that sometimes healers can be overpowered. Not saying they are overpowered, but sometimes they can be overpowered. And some classes like mine, you're probably saying, well, dude, like the legendary daggers are so overpowered, they're killing everybody, rogues are so overpowered. No, that's not true. If they were overpowered in any way, shape, or form, a person that really does not know how to play a rogue, if he can only press a few buttons and they kill you like that, yeah, that's being overpowered. But if that's not the case, if you are a bad rogue and you do not kill anybody because you are a bad rogue, then that pretty much means that it's a balanced class, because it takes skill to play a rogue. So if you are extremely skilled in playing a rogue and you go up to somebody and you tear them a new one, that's not being overpowered either. It's basically like playing Halo. May the best, luckiest bastard win. That's all it is. It's all luck. It's all about timing. And when I mean all about timing, I mean timing of luck. If you don't get that luck, it's most likely you're not going to win. I mean, it is based on skill, but most games that people play nowadays is based on luck. Besides the point, healers are a big no-no. You have to kill them quick. After you kill the healers, you pretty much push the DPS back. And the way to keep them back so you can capture the flag multiple times is pretty much you split off into two groups. One group, which is powerful, so they can pretty much train, like overrun them at the graveyard site so they can stop spawning. Or at least to the outer edge of the bridge of doom, so you can pick up the flag and so you can get on with your life and go capture it. If you're good enough, if everybody's good enough, then you can do this multiple times. Second strategy That's basically when I explained it the first time. That's basically all I needed to explain. It ain't really much to it. The only extra thing you can do is this is basically capture. The flag makes it even more faster than what it already is. But truthfully, the flag is not much priority, because if you have 3, you're capturing at the speed if you had 2 and you were capturing the flag. Capturing your flag at that point would be kind of ridiculous, unless you really do not feel like playing that Eye of the Storm for like forever, for the rest of your life. But that's basically it for this video. I'm sorry if I rambled on too much. Please rate and subscribe, and I'll surprise you and wow you with more awesome epic tutorial videos. Anyways, guys, see you next time.